All right. Welcome to any replayers. If you're a replayer, you can still participate. Follow me on Twitter at joannazarach, on Snapchat. You can ask me questions there. I'm always happy to answer questions. If you have a personal finance question, if you didn't get a chance to ask something about the broadcast and it's come up afterwards, feel free to ask me. I would really love nothing more than answer your questions on Snapchat. And you think I'm kidding, but I'm not. So, if you're new to me, and hello to anybody joining live, welcome, happy Monday. I hope you are having a good start to the week. And if you are new to me, my name is joannazarach, and I broadcast every single day at 10 a.m. Central Time. Hi, Christy. Thanks for the hearts. On money habits. Why? Because a habit is something you do every day, and it's easier to do something every day than it is to say 5 days a week. If you do it every day, it's just part of your routine. It becomes something that you do, not something that you have to think about doing. And that is what a habit is. And so for money habits, you just take a little bit of time every day to think about your money and to manage it. And over time, you'll get a better idea of where your money is coming from, where it's going, and how to manage it. I guarantee you, you will be better off. So, today we're talking about my favorite money tool, mint.com. And this is in the last several weeks, we've been going through the various sections of mint.com. And today I want to talk about the property section and how I utilize it and how you can use it. So when people see the property section, it actually has a little house on it. So you think, well, I don't have a house. I don't own a house. It doesn't apply to me. So there's three things that I use it for. So first of all, we do have a property. It's our primary residence. And by the way, if you have multiple properties, like if you're an investor and you have rental properties, this would be a great, hi, how are you? That would be a great way for you to see what the actual value of your properties are, because that fluctuates over time. And I think we're sometimes have a wishful thinking, or we have what I call our imaginary house values, where we imagine what it's worth. And what I love about the property at Mint is it's integrated with Zillow, and it gives you a Z estimate. And so basically it updates the house value, whether you like it or not, whether it goes up or down, given the sales in your area. So it gives you that comparison. So I really think that keeps you grounded, keeps you realistic. Now make sure if you do add the property, because those are big numbers, that you balance it with making sure you have your mortgage somewhere in there. If you have a loan against it, make sure you're incorporating it. I often see people giving their assets, like the net worth, and including the property value, but not the mortgage, which I think is a little bit silly. So make sure you're actually, this also gives you kind of a realistic perspective what your actual equity is. When we talk about equity, again, people kind of imagine, oh, I made a down payment, so of course that's how much equity I have in it. No. Equity is the difference between the house value and your liabilities. And by the way, anything that when you go to sell it, there's going to be a commission. As a first-time buyer, oftentimes you don't realize that when you go to sell, there's actually, unless you do all the hard work yourself, including a real estate broker, then there's going to be a fee that you have to pay just to sell your house. So it's a liquid investment. The other property that's in here, this feature's only been in here a couple years, at least that I know, is for your automobile. So if you own a vehicle, own it, not just drive it or lease it. If you own your vehicle, and again, make sure you counter it with any loans you have, then Kelley Blue Book will actually bring in the value of your vehicle. Now, what I discovered recently is if you want that updated, right, because I entered my vehicles in here 3 years ago and the value didn't change. But what you need to do is update the mileage. When you update the mileage, it'll bring them the updated estimate for your vehicle. So once a year or every 6 months, they update the mileage and it'll recalculate it. Of course, you'll see that number go down because cars are a depreciating asset. So make sure you recognize it. And again, it keeps it real, like real value, like what's in it. And again, if you have a loan, and for some of those loan providers, they may not link up with Mint, this is where the third use of the property section comes in. The property section is extremely flexible, so when you go to add an account to that section, you can add a financial account to property, and you can go to, let's see, I'm going to see if I can walk you through it, because I haven't done it in a while, because I haven't had any property to add, just to update. But if you go to accounts and you go to other, and you can go add other property, and you can add a financial property. So because what happens a lot of times with many people are like, I don't see everything because some of my accounts don't sync. So if you have an investment account, maybe 401k through your employer, and it's not linking up to Mint, when you go to add other, and it says what would you like to add, so not the real estate, but the other has a little car value. You can add a vehicle, you can add money or debt or other property. So money or debt is where you can put any loans that you have outstanding that aren't syncing through Mint. Make sure you record it. And because loans are usually on a monthly basis, you can update it once a month. And even if you don't have to be that precise, update it quarterly, because that amount isn't fluctuating as much. So you're just kind of paying down your debt. So you can put your debt, or you can put cash, positive. And so I've done a few things. Sometimes the Mint links break, even if you initially were able to import an account. I've had trouble when accounts don't sync, and at some point I just accept that they're not going to sync. You can do two things. You can completely delete it off your other area, which is like investments, and just add it in here and update it quarterly. Or I do like a balance. I kept the account in case it ever does recover the link, so that I know that that was synced at some point, and then I just add the difference. Like I just use the little calculator tool. So that's how I use it. So I actually have multiple pieces. They do have other property here. I've never used that part, where if you have something of great value that you want to include in your net worth, you can. And again, I haven't been using it because I don't own a ton of things of great value, and they're like, again, I wouldn't sell them. But if you do have some collectibles and you say, you know what, I've put a great deal of money into them, you may want to just add that category. So it'll give you a complete picture of your net worth. So that's why I think it's super important, so that you are, so you do have that. So yeah, so I have, the other things is any accounts, like I have a savings account that doesn't come through, and I've added that in here. It's a business savings account, and I just update it once in a while whenever I make a withdrawal from it. And again, the other things are mostly assets where the stock portfolio doesn't come through. I have some GE stock that's in a separate plan. I can't bring it through, so I'll just type it in. There's a lot of free text fields, so you can describe what it is in detail and when you last updated. So that's what I also recommended. If you are updating financial statements, financial accounts in the property section, make sure you type in every time you update it. Just type yourself a note, like what was the date on which you updated that account value. So that's it. That's how I use my the other property, because it really, the property section, because it rounds out nicely, like what is your actual net worth. As you know, my view on Mint is excellent at tracking your transactions, so your day-to-day transactions and like where your money's going, so your inflows and outflows. It's an excellent tool for that. It's horrible for investments outside of net worth, but it has all of my investments in there. So it's just one-stop shop in which I see all my investments, all my liabilities, all my cash flow in and out, and again, the total number of net worth. Because there's just a few numbers that you really should be focusing on, and and the Mint is a great place to do them all. So that's the topic for today, is the property section for Mint.com. So to sum it up, real estate value, use Zillow, and cars, the Kelley Blue Book. When you update the mileage, it'll bring in the value automatically. Make sure you counterbalance with any loans that you have that aren't pulling through in another section, and then any financial assets or liabilities that you hold that you aren't able to sync up, put it in there and make sure you update which day and month, which month and year you've last updated the value, and just do it on a semi-regular basis when you get to it. And again, because they're mostly investments or liquid, retirement investments or liquid accounts, it doesn't, like any transactions that are happening and there's not a lot, that's not your info and your outflow of cash. So those are really three things that will really help utilize that property section, because it's extremely flexible. And like I said, they have the other things that are of value, but I've never entered any. I mean, I have them, but they're not a big part of my portfolio, so I don't assign a lot of importance to the things that I own, like jewelry or something. So thanks a lot for anybody that's joining. And if you're joining just now, you can watch the replay. And again, I'm on every day, 10 a.m. on money habits. So I'll be here tomorrow, 10 a.m., and we'll talk about a task for the week. I like to get people focused on the financial task that they do every week. On Tuesday, we talk about the task, and on Wednesday, walk the walk, I talk about how I did on that financial task. And then on Tuesday afternoon, I'm going to do Money Matters. Again, I got to figure out what topic I'm going to do on Money Matters tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So thanks a lot for joining, and follow me on Twitter. And if you have any questions, you follow me on Snapchat at joannazarach, and ask me on Snapchat. Send a quick video, send a text, and I will answer your question. And thanks again for joining. Thank you for the hearts, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.